Good morning, everybody. Got your coffee? I got mine. So, I feel good today. My mood has been off a little bit lately because when I tell you the way things have been going wrong, and it's not a lot, it's just a little bit here and a little bit there. Things have just been off, and I'm used to things kind of going smoothly, but that's life. You got to roll with the punches. But I got a couple things I want to talk about, but before we talk, there's some people that I actually need to be thanking. Okay. I want to say thank you so much to Tawanda for sending me some coffee money, love, girl. Thank you. Thank you. And also to Kisa. Am I saying your name right? Is it Kisa or Kissa? It's spelled Kissa, and I love the way that's spelled because that spelling and then that big K and the I just feel like the I, you should heart all your eyes. Do you heart your eyes? I just feel like a name spelled like that I just demands a heart over it. Girl. And I need to say thank you so much to Marquita. I got a cousin named Marquita. She was such a happy baby, man. I used to love picking her up. But thank you, Marquita. Thank you, baby. And then Paris. Thank you, Paris. How can you go wrong with the name like Paris? It's just so romantic. I've never been to Paris, France. I would like to go, but chances are I'll never get there. And Monique. Thank you so much. Monique, that note you left that said you really felt the way about the grocery store story and that it really touched you. And I guess it touched a lot of people, but it is my truth. It's just the truth. And, I tend to lean into my truths, and because, if we don't lean into our truths, how do we self-correct? How do we do better? How do we be self-aware if we don't lean into our truths? But I thank you so much for your words and your gift. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Ladies. First things first. Did y'all see where that CEO that got killed? I think it's the company. They only put up like a $10,000 reward for this man. 10 G's, that's it? I mean, don't get me wrong. 10 G's would change a couple things for me. But not to the degree where I would snitch on old boy. We were talking the other day about what our numbers were. And I was talking to another commenter and she said 50K would be, 100K was her number, but 50K would do her. And you know what? It's so funny because my husband and I, we talk about it all the time. 50K is my number too. 50K is that number where I could pay off like all of my bills, get another decent used car, take a vacation because we haven't had one since 2016. And that vacation, it wasn't extravagant. It was just what we could afford. But we had the time of our lives on that vacation. You know what I'm saying? It was the first time that my husband had ever actually been on an airplane. I've been to other places like Acapulco and Jamaica, and I've traveled in my life, but he'd never gone, on an airplane before. And it was such an experience for him. I made sure he had a window seat so that he could look over at the Atlantic when we flew and everything. And he talks about that one and only vacation trip that we've had together. And, we've had little, outings at inns and, stuff like that, that we've driven to. But, like to pack up, get on an airplane, go through TSA, we've only done that once together. And baby, the way this economy is going, woo, but you know what? Never say never, because honey, whenever I feel like I see no way, my ancestors, They always find a way. Maybe this book I'm writing will actually sell if I ever actually freaking finish it one day. With that being said, look here. Do y'all remember over on TikTok that story that captivated everyone last year? I think it was with Risa Tisa and Who the F Did I Marry? There's another situation going on with another young lady over on TikTok, and I listened to bits and pieces of it. It's a lot of abuse, that has transgressed between she and her partner. But let me tell you something, ladies. This is a message for the ladies. And this is ladies of all races, of all ages, of all backgrounds. Because the one thing we all got in common as women is men. Get your coffee, pull your chair up, and listen. Because I'm trying to tell you, I truly believe that I have cracked the code, and I believe that that's why I'm in a happy marriage. I really do believe that. A respectful marriage. You know where y'all be going wrong with these men, especially you young ladies. And young ladies, I'm going to give y'all grace. I really am. Because in order for people to do better, they got to learn to do better. So we going to give young women grace, y'all. We are. But when you start hitting your 40s and your 50s and you still choosing bad men for yourself, when I tell you you need to run that walk to therapy, you do. Therapy, when I tell you it will give you so many tools and it will do so much for you. Therapy will do things for you that you didn't even think that therapy could do for you, because when you start working out your issues, you really do start picking better and choosing better partners as you start to feel differently about yourself. And that's what I want to say. You know where y'all go wrong with these men? Y'all put forth too much effort. Well, what do you mean? Well, Gardner, aren't you supposed to put forth effort when you meet someone and you like them? Sure, you're supposed to put forth some effort. But you're not supposed to be putting the kind of effort that a wife puts forward. Because you're not a wife. You're not a wife. As his girlfriend, or definitely somebody that he's dating, you should not be giving financial gifts to a man. You should not be giving too many material gifts to a man. You should not, if any, you should not be paying for dinners and vacations and outings. You should not be washing his clothes. You should not be paying his child support. You should not be doing any of that shit for a man that is just dating you. Ain't no way. And even as a wife, you need to be having limits. You do. Sometimes I have to remind myself. Because if not, both I, as someone who has internalized misogyny, and my husband, as someone who has been conditioned to be misogynistic, will fall back into those patterns of behavior. So I have to remember to fall back and let that man do what he needs to do for himself. And the reason why I'm able to do that is because I don't love my husband more than I love myself. When y'all start taking over all the responsibilities of making that man's life comfortable and good and cushy, that is what society has conditioned you as a woman to do, to take care of men. Most men, a lot of men, don't even like women. They really don't. They don't even like women. They just want a secretary, a nurse, a cook, a washerwoman, somebody to babysit their kids, take care of their kids. because they don't want those responsibilities. Marriage, if not done right, if you do not deconstruct from your internalized misogyny as a woman, you will be a servant in your own marriage when you're supposed to be a wife. A wife, a partner, is different than a servant. It just is. My husband knows that I love him dearly. I do, with my whole heart. But I will never love him more than I love me. Never. And that is one of the things, without me even realizing it, that therapy helped me to accomplish. Stop letting the world talk you out of loving yourself. Stop letting the world tell you that you can't fully love yourself because you're female, because you're a woman. Because the world don't love women like they do men. Stop letting the world tell you that you cannot love yourself because you are a black woman. You being a black woman is the world's problem. It's not your problem. You can love yourself despite what all these things are telling you to feel about yourself. You are allowed to feel differently about your womanness and your blackness. You're allowed to honor yourself. You are allowed to love yourself despite being a woman, despite being black, despite being dark, despite having 4C hair, despite your wide hips and your big nose and your fat ass. You are allowed to love yourself. And when men who have internalized misogyny tell you that you can't, by calling you black, by calling you ugly, by calling you fat, by calling you old, you don't have to care about none of it. That is misogyny and patriarchy conditioning you to hate yourself enough where you put everybody, including some raggedy ass man, before you do yourself. And those are only the rules if you let that be the rules for you. When you go to therapy and you have your brain rewired and you start to deconstruct from all of that toxic bullshit, and you start having real value, real love, real care, and you literally, because therapy is where I first started falling in love with me. When you start falling in love with yourself, I promise you, on everything, you can walk away from any man. Any man. Even one you've been married to for 20 years, if he get to a point where he's no longer honoring you in the relationship anymore, you can walk away. You may feel a little sad inside, but I promise you, if you love yourself right, that sadness ain't gonna last but a minute or two. The fear of leaving, it ain't gonna last but a minute or two. Ladies, you are allowed to love yourself from the rooter to the damn tutor and everything in between. Fall in love with you first. If you do, you will save yourself a lot of grief and a lot of trauma where men are concerned. Most men aren't even worth the effort anymore. Wait until you find a man who also loves himself. They are few and far between, because a man that loves himself has no interest in making you feel bad about yourself. He has no interest in seeing you carry the load. He has no interest in having the kind of a relationship with a woman that is one-sided. wait until you come across a man who has worked on himself. One that's not afraid to go to therapy if he needs to go to therapy. Pretty much everybody does, but you know what I'm saying. If he cussing at you, putting you down, trying to make you feel bad about yourself, putting his hands on you, that's not honor. He not honoring you and you not honoring you. You deserve better. I don't know who put you through what. And honey, I'm talking to you as a person who was groomed by a predator to be subservient and submissive and a people pleaser. And I had to go to therapy for 10 years to deconstruct from all of that. But I did. And when I did, I saw how truly valuable I really, really was. It's usually when a man can see that spark of power in you that they attempt to put it out. You are more powerful than you think you are. You are stronger than you think you are. You are more than what you think you are. You are more valuable than what you think you are. And there are a lot of women, I'm going to tell you this, that think what gives them the power and the self-love are that designer purse or that Tesla or those high-end clothing or the title of trophy wife. It's no material possession has the power to show you what real self-love is. Self-love is a process. And mind you, I'm not saying because you like high-end things you don't love yourself. But what I'm saying is there is a fundamental difference. Because I have known girlfriends who have had those things, and I have seen them go through humiliating things with men. I have. And I'm talking about really good-looking women too. Women that a lot of men call the preference. They're not even treating their preferences with dignity and respect. Love yourself first. And stop putting in massive effort on a man who has not proven to you that he is worthy of it. Y'all don't even let these men prove to y'all that they're worthy of a home cooked meal before y'all start cooking and shit. Y'all don't even let these men prove to y'all that they're worthy of sharing the same roof as you are before you start inviting them in and with your kids. Y'all ain't even let this man show y'all real, true, healing love on a consistent, continual basis over the course of time before you start giving him all these permissions and you start agreeing to all his terms and conditions. You don't even know who you messing with. Read yourself some self-help books. Read yourself some books on spirituality. Read yourself some books that help you understand what narcissism is, what abuse really is in all of its forms. Get you some girlfriends that are in healthy relationships with themselves so that you can see what that looks like. Get you some girlfriends who are in healthy relationships, marriages with men who are also healthy so that you can see what that looks like. And stop letting your loneliness pick bad partners for you. You are alone because you ain't learned what you're supposed to learn yet. And that is your ancestors' way of saving you. Take that time. We are all supposed to have it as women. To learn and love yourself first. And stop running to any man to fill up holes inside of you that you should be filling up for you. And the reason why you're unable to fill up those empty spaces is because you never learned how and you don't have the tools to do it. And so you look very similar to men, the way they do. You look for someone to do that for you. And you shouldn't. That is dysfunctional. It is not healthy. That's all I want to say. I hope y'all got something from that. Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you would like to buy me a cup of coffee or support this video or platform, I will leave my Cash App and Venmo down in the comments. Y'all have a wonderful day.